I've been wanting to make a video about bad website design for a little while now. Um, Bad website design, bad usability experience is all things that really frustrate me, and I know frustrate a lot of you guys when you're trying to find information online and you're not getting the information you need instantly, right? I mean, people are notoriously impatient online. You have a few seconds to grab their attention, or they're gone. They hit the back button and they find somebody else that actually took the time to plan out their site a little better. So I'd like to look at some usability issues in this example, but I want to go over a few points that we can cover, really to kind of explain. And in no sense, in no way is this a exhaustive look at usability or best practices. There's just volumes of information, volumes of books that have been written on the subject. It's gotten a lot more prevalent, a lot more attention in recent years because, well, the web is expanding and there's just a lot more competition than there used to be. But really, if you follow just a couple of these principles and avoid these mistakes, your site will be so much better off. If you're tracking, and you should be tracking your conversions on your site, it will just increase by just making these subtle changes. And they're really just common sense stuff, you know. The design really is tied to your message. It's like advertising. You've got a product, you've got a service that's needed and useful to people. You need to communicate that information across to people as quickly as possible. So a couple key points is make good use of color, clear font, don't use multiple fonts that don't complement each other. Be consistent in your message. Have a call to action. Now, call to action is something that you want the user to take a specific desired action, and the call to action usually is either in the form of a button or a form that someone needs, person needs to fill out to get the information that they need. Whether your site generates leads for sales, whether your site actually sells products like an e-commerce site, or whether you have a blog and you want to convey information so you can get readership to sell advertising, they are all different goals. So the way that you accomplish them are going to be slightly different, but the basic principles are the same. Too much clutter, too much information at one time adds to the confusion of a badly designed site. People don't have the time to dissect every little bit of piece of information that you feel is important. You really have to kind of step outside of yourself and step outside of the perception that you think people have of your site, and actually look at it objectively. There's a good reason why white space is used, and if you fail to use white space, fail to lay out your page in a very logical way, people are going to be frustrated and they're just not going to want to stick around. It's common sense, a lot of common sense stuff. If you've got a navigation, almost everybody that has surfed the internet in the past 15 years knows what navigation is, and knows what a main text navigation or how to get around a site. And so if your navigation is confusing, if the wording on the links used is not really following through on the promise, when someone clicks on a link and it ends up taking them to something that has nothing to do with that link, that is something that you should avoid. You should maintain consistency throughout your design. Be consistent. If your links all have your links that take a specific action are blue with an underline, then you should follow that same convention throughout the site. If your site, each of your pages starts out with a big bold black heading, then you should be consistent on every page. familiarity with the website design for your customers or for your visitors are going to be it's going to be grasped a lot easier and quicker if things are consistent, if there's consistency. Let's see, color, the use of color. I mentioned that a little bit earlier is so important, and I think a lot of web designers overlook this fact because they want to impress, but really 1 to 2 colors, you can have different shades of the same color, that's fine, but really 2 colors to 3 colors maximum is what will make your site look a lot more polished and professional. So I'm going to take a look at, before I go any further, I'm going to load this example, and I'm just going to stay quiet for a couple seconds because I want you to really take in what I experienced the first time I came to the site. Alright, so here goes. The site is lingscars.com, and I'm just going to reload. Alright, so I hope that your eyes are not hurting too badly, but this site, basically, this web page does everything the opposite of what I just said and what a lot of usability experts have said you shouldn't do. Right? I mean, there's just 1,001 different colors on this page. There's lots of different fonts. There's flashing icons, graphics. There's just all kinds of neon symbols and signs. There's just so much to take in here that I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem usability experts and trying to solve, is if you as a web designer don't pay attention to usability, a usable site, then the point of designing the site is kind of moot, because you really don't need to. Man, there's just so much going on here. I'm trying to. I was gathered by the title, Lings Cars Car Leasing. Want a cheap lease car? Start here. Okay, and there's a bunch of other. And I just saw this now because my attention's been all over the place looking at other things. I noticed this form, and there's really not a lot of attention being focused on this form. I know I can search for a car, but there's no clarity as to what I'm supposed to do. Okay, let's search for a vehicle and see what happens. Alright, right now we have a bunch of different vehicles. They're all listed together in this huge table with the prices and the terms next to it. But this goes on for a long time. There's no images, there's no pictures to go along with the car that I want to lease or want to find. And then there's a lot of unrelated information down at the bottom of this page. So I'm going to take quickly a look at another site. Similar purpose, right? This is a car leasing site, and I've got no affiliation with these guys. It's just this was a good looking site with clear with a clear message, and so I'm using that as an example. Right at the top you see accredited business, Inc. 5000. That this is obviously an important factor, that information that this company wanted to get across, get to your attention, because this adds credibility, right? If you're BBB approved or accredited. There's a vehicle, there's the main points: free service, easily research the best price, see incentives and discounts on car leases. Simple. I get to find a quote. I can choose from the drop down menu what vehicle I'm looking for, what model, and what zip code I'm in. And then a huge call to action button that I click to get a quote. That's it. That's all the information that's on this page. And then communicated at the bottom here are the steps that it'll take for me to get my price quote. Okay, so this is an example of simplistic but yet effective, an effective landing page, an effective quotes page on this website. I do think this is a landing page. However, I'm going to take a look at the actual site and see what that looks like. And yeah, well, it's the same thing. Usually there's a difference between the page that customers land on when they click an ad, which is how I found this site, versus just the main domain. But that's a topic for discussion for another video. I just wanted to draw your attention to the contrast of what a poorly designed site looks like, and how horrible it can be to use something like this versus something that is quick and easy. You know exactly what you're supposed to do. That's the point. It's common sense. It's pointing out the positives of your service. There's information communicated to you clearly and easily, and the page is really tiny as well. There's really no guesswork that has to go on as to what you need to do. Well guys, that's it for today. I hope this video was helpful to you in some way, and that you could at least take away something useful to start making improvements to your own website. Thanks a lot for watching.